You wake up to a knock that doesn't sound like a normal knock. 3 times. Slow, deliberate. The kind of knock that makes you lie still for a second before your feet even hit the floor. When you open the door, there's no one there, just an envelope, black, sitting dead center on the mat, with a single gold seal pressed into the front, like something out of a dream you haven't decided yet if you're having. Your apartment is small, the kind of small where you can hear the refrigerator hum from the bedroom. You've lived here 6 years. You know every crack in this ceiling. None of that matters in about 4 seconds. Inside the envelope is one sentence. You have been given $1 trillion. You have 24 hours to spend it. Whatever remains at midnight will cost you the rest of your life in prison. You laugh. Actual laughter, the kind that comes out before your brain catches up. This has to be a joke, a prank, some elaborate stunt someone is filming from a van outside. Then your phone buzzes. A banking app you've never seen before. An icon you don't remember installing. You open it anyway because some part of you already knows. A balance that doesn't look real. 1 followed by 12 zeros. $1 trillion. You sit down on the edge of your bed, the same bed you've slept in for 6 years, and you do the math before you even stand back up. 24 hours. 86,400 seconds. Which means, starting right now, you need to spend roughly $11.5 million every single second without stopping, without sleeping, without slowing down, just to hit zero by midnight. $11.5 million per second. You've never even held $11,000 in cash at one time in your life. And now you have to burn through more than that every heartbeat for an entire day. Or spend the rest of your life exactly where you're sitting right now, except behind bars instead of a bedroom door. There's no instruction manual for this, no hotline, just the balance, ticking somewhere in the background even though it hasn't moved yet, and a clock on your phone that already feels louder than it should. You start where anyone would start. You buy the house. Not a house, the house. The one that made headlines last year for being the most expensive listing in the country. $78 million gone before you've even had coffee. You buy the car collection next. 3 of them. A private jet you've never sat in. A yacht big enough to have its own zip code. By 9 in the morning, you've spent more money than most people will see across 10 combined lifetimes. You check the balance. Hands unsteady in a way they've never been before. It hasn't moved. Not really. Not in any way that matters. 999 billion. Some change. A rounding error against a number too large to feel with your body, even while your body is the one shaking. That's when the fear starts, not the panic of losing money. You've never had enough of it to fear losing it. This is the panic of realizing money itself might not be fast enough to save you. You call your bank, then a second bank, then a broker who sounds more confused by the call than you are. You start buying real estate in bulk, entire apartment complexes, entire city blocks, a resort chain spanning 3 countries, an airline with more planes than you can name. You buy a professional sports team a little after noon, and its stadium 15 minutes later. The number moves this time, actually moves, but so does the clock, and the clock has never once cared how hard you're trying. Here's the part nobody warns you about. Money stops being the bottleneck almost immediately. Paperwork is the bottleneck. Lawyers are the bottleneck. Wire transfers that take hours to clear. Contracts that need actual human signatures. Deals that quietly collapse the second the other side senses exactly how badly you need them closed today. In the next 10 minutes, not tomorrow. You have unlimited money and a completely limited number of hours. And it turns out those 2 things were never built to scale together. Somewhere in the early afternoon, a stranger recognizes you from a news alert already circling the internet. Some blurry photo of you walking out of a bank, looking like you haven't slept in a year. He asks if it's true. You don't answer. You don't have time to answer. You're already halfway through calling a 4th broker, watching the number crawl down slower than your heartbeat.
By early afternoon, you're not really buying anything anymore. You're trying to give it away, which turns out to be its own kind of impossible. Hospitals, universities, an entire country's student debt, gone in one signature, a real figure, one that actually existed before you touched it, since student loan debt worldwide sits somewhere near $2 trillion. Even wiping out a meaningful slice of that barely dents what's still sitting in your account, blinking back at you like it's mocking the whole idea of trying. You start writing checks with too many zeros to entire cities you've never visited, rebuild a water system, fund every hospital in a state you couldn't find on a map yesterday, cover every unpaid medical bill you can locate in a single frantic afternoon. It should feel like winning. It feels like drowning in something that refuses to get smaller no matter how hard you kick. For one strange, quiet minute around 4 in the afternoon, you almost stop. Just sit there in a hotel suite you bought 2 hours ago and never wanted, staring at a balance that has barely blinked, and think about just letting it happen. Letting midnight come. Letting the number win. It would almost be easier than this. Then you think about the bedroom you woke up in 6 hours ago and you start moving again. Evening comes, and the number on your screen is still obscene. 400 billion. You have less than 8 hours left and more money left over than entire countries produce in a year. Nobody has ever needed to spend this fast. Nobody has ever had a reason to. You start buying companies outright. Not shares, not stakes, the whole thing. A tech company here, a media conglomerate there, an entire supply chain stitched together in one desperate stretch of signatures under fluorescent office lights that never turn off. Somewhere around 9 at night, your lawyer, exhausted, half laughing and half terrified for you in the same breath, says something that stops you cold. He says, "At this rate, you're not spending money anymore. You're just becoming the kind of person who owns everything money touches." You sit with that for a second because it's true, and it's the first true thing anyone has said to you all day. Every dollar you've thrown at buying things has landed somewhere. A building, a brand, a stock, an asset that didn't disappear. It just changed hands, and every asset you now hold quietly keeps making more money the second you own it. Rent rolling in from buildings you bought that morning. Dividends from companies you bought that afternoon. You haven't been erasing the $1 trillion all day. You've been converting it, piece by piece, into things that generate more of the exact thing you're trying so hard to get rid of. The clock hits 11 at night, 60 billion left, 1 hour, 60 seconds a minute, 60 minutes, 3,600 seconds standing between you and the rest of your life behind bars, and somehow, in the middle of all that noise, this is the moment it finally clicks. The people who actually have this kind of money were never trying to spend it in the first place. That was never the game they were playing. The real trick isn't getting rid of $1 trillion in a day. It's understanding that once you have that much, spending stops being the point entirely. Everything you touch starts making more, whether you want it to or not, whether you're trying to escape it or not. You spend the last hour throwing money at anything left that will take it, faster than you've moved all day, heart pounding, hands shaking, watching the number fall and fall and fall, like something finally giving way. 11:59, you don't know if you made it, you don't know if the last transfer cleared in time or if it's still sitting somewhere between banks, caught in the one kind of delay that was never really about money at all. Midnight arrives exactly the way it always does, quietly, indifferently, no fireworks, no verdict read aloud, just a clock turning over the same way it does every single night, whether you're a person with nothing or a person who spent one entire day owning almost everything on earth. You look down at your phone and for the first time in 24 hours, you're not thinking about the number at all. You're thinking about everything that number touched on its way to zero, and whether in the end it was ever really gone at all.